now. It is a very valid topic. And so based on that fact, that's the reason why this video is now taking longer, is because I'm writing this whole entire thing up. I don't want to actually use the writing that I did for the video. However, a lot of it's going to be in there. So I may as well finish this section off first before I actually finish that video. But even if I don't get into that video today, we are going to talk about this right now. This part of it, I'm just absolutely blown away by, which is the two most recent things that have gone down, and one of them is still actually going down. Well, both of them you can technically say are still going down, but one of them, how do I put it? It's more not just of a complicated situation, but it's something that's actually going to take a prolonged period of time before you really see what the end result is. But I'm going to speak on it because a dumbass, the king of grease and grime himself, had the nerve to say something that I'm just like, you have got to be out of your mind. And I've spoken about this moron once before. And what's funny about it is I don't spend a great deal of time online. You guys have no idea. I accumulate information like that. I can watch something, skim through it, read something, skim through it, gain all the information, and bam, it's there, and that's it. Takes me a few minutes. I don't doom scroll the internet. I can't stand it. It's one of those things that it's a waste of time and it's a waste of my life, honestly. And I feel like it's a waste of a lot of individuals' lives. And I'll get even deeper into that in another video and possibly somewhat today. But here we go. Let's start this off with the king of grease and grime himself, the rat merchant, the roach, the roach troll, fucking Asmongold. If you guys haven't seen this, and as I said before, I've spoken about this moron before, but if you haven't seen this, I'm going to break down just how stupid this individual is, just how wrong he is also. So there's two different videos, and I'm going to try and watch both of them without saying too much of anything until
Else that I can say it.
after. Let me turn this down real quick. The first incident, if you guys don't know, the man on screen, Maduro, the U.S. went in and pulled him out of the country, and now he's in the U.S. facing criminal charges. Now, this is not to say that Maduro was a good man. This is not to say that he's done no wrongs in his country, but it is to say that what fucking right do you have to go into another country and pull the president of their country out under no real pretense and drag him to the US to face and stand trial? Well, the answer is easy: oil. If you guys don't remember, Dave Chappelle, during the Chappelle Show days, did a skit that still to this day, every time I see it, it makes me laugh. I can't help it. It was called Black Bush. And it was during the time that they were like, let's go over here and, get these weapons of mass destructions, which no one ever actually found WMDs, but what they did get is some oil, baby. And he was sitting in front of a bunch of different people at the, in the Oval Office, and they were talking. And one of the reporters said, President Bush, how do you feel about people saying that you're going after the oil? And he said, oil? Oh, who said something about some oil? Bitch, you cooking? And gets up and, and lashes out. Well, Trump said the quiet thing out loud. And he said, um, it's about the oil. That's exactly what it was. Now, I knew when they were bombing these small ships, killing a bunch of people, quote unquote, saying that it was drug related, but then you go and release one of the most notorious drug traffickers in the world by pardoning him. And then they went and they actually seized an oil tanker. I was like, Nah, bruh, nah. They're about to go ahead and put them boots on the ground, and they did. But let's hear what old Asmonhole had to say about it.
Other than we just went over there and we got him. 3-hour war. Exactly. Trump straight up sent in Navy SEALs and they just got him. And this is, by the way, this is the original video.
They didn't just get him. There's about what, if I remember correctly, and it could be higher. I know it's not lower, but there was 40 some odd deaths that went along with this job.
And you see, oh shit. And by the way, I want everybody to look at, if we're able to parachute down, capture, and then leave the president of the country, and we have that good of intelligence, Nicolas Maduro could be seen visibly anxious, telling the media that Colombia was responsible for all the cocaine and not Venezuela.
I mean,
Oh God, it's not me. Iran, it becomes increasingly clear that the 20-year war with the Middle East was by design. Look at Dr. Disrespect latest post.
Wait,
what?
Oh,
No.
no. Where's it at?
Stop.
I'm trying to find a very specific thing that he said, and it might not even be in this video, but I do remember what he said.
Linking me this. It's not funny. Oh my fuck.
I came in this country when I was 10 years old and abused of their power.
Guys, don't listen to her. There's a fat, gender-confused communist on Twitter that lives in Massachusetts. This is a bad thing. Every single... Wow. Hassan doesn't give a shit about any of that stuff. The reason why he cares about it is because it's not advantageous.
So, great day to be an American first. Bootlicker who voted for the most Israel first admin that guts social programs, won't fix infrastructure, cuts taxes for the super wealthy, and spends all its money instead of bombing Venezuela and stealing its oil for super profits of the them. Okay, let's see if he says it. I need
worldview. Don't listen to any of these Venezuelans. Saddam Hussein, President Trump captured.
This isn't the video. I gotta find it real quick. Let me see if I can. Asmongold defends. See, here's the thing. I didn't watch this before getting on because I wanted to go through this with you all. Defends might. Asmongold defend. No. American might. No. Against. Okay, see, let's see. We'll keep this against Venezuela. Damn, what the hell? Defends Americans defending Maduro. Shock Trump says he sees. Oh, wait, was this it?
The oil that has been seized. The United States seized 1.9 million barrels of oil on December 10th.
We're going to keep it.
Sell it or put it in the strategic
Maybe
oil
we'll sell it. We're keeping the ships also. Yep.
Why can't I skip through this? Scroll through it.
The oil that has been.
Nope. All right, here's the bottom line, all right? Because somehow I can't find a clip. There's a clip of damn near everything else this motherfucker talks about. But I cannot. Oh, damn. I didn't even transition the screen over so you guys can see this. But anyway, there's a clip that he actually did on stream from what he did on stream on Kick. And what he's talking about is saying that the U.S. was correct in going in and doing this because they had the might to do so. They had the ability to do so. So why not fucking do it? And not only is it okay to do because they had the might to do so, but if it is monetarily beneficial to America, that's what makes it right. He broke it down to the simplest of things that I think we've all heard. Might is right. Might is right. Can anybody in the class please tell me what the problem with that statement is? And if you don't know, for those of you in the back, a lot. The issue with this type of mindset, this might is right mindset, is this. If you're saying might is right, and as long as it benefits your pockets, your pocketbook, your bank account, your lifestyle, then hey, that means the US can go and do this to any country, anywhere, for any reason. They're already attempting to do some dumb shit with Greenland. Are you kidding me? Hey, Trump said he's willing to do anything in order to get it. Who am I to say he won't? Because the reality of it is, I've been saying this since day one. He's telling you the playbook. Even when he twists a little bit of lie, tweaks some shit here and there, he's telling you the playbook. They're willing to do this shit because he doesn't care. He doesn't give a fuck. It's just all about his pockets. Not even the American economy, not the Americans' pockets, because he's burning holes in people's pockets. It's about his pockets. But here's the other thing about might is right. Might is right. Well, you know what? How are you to tell anyone that anything they do is illegal? Because it is illegal. It is a war crime. It is illegal to do what they did in Venezuela. It is. Just pure and simply is. Look it up. Not hard to find out. You have the internet, the place that you all sit and doom scroll and suck at the teat of morons who spew nothing but lies to you instead of finding the facts. Look it up. It's illegal. But how are you going to tell anyone at all that anything they do for their monetary gain, to feed their family, to hook their friends up with shit, to make their lives a little more convenient monetarily, who are you as the government or anyone else to say that they're wrong? Because let me give you an example. All right. Well, damn, man, this economy's a fucking mess. Broke. Can't pay for my rent. Can't pay my car payment. Can't feed my wife and kids. Shit. But you know what? I got a bunch of niggas I know we can all run out, grab the Glocks, hit the bank, rob them, lay some motherfuckers down when we do it too. Might is right. That's the problem with it. And this can be put in any scenario that you want to put it into. Kids being bullied in school, knocking an old lady out on the street, pushing an old man in front of a bus in order to, pick his pockets afterward. Might is right. Do whatever the fuck you want. That's the problem with statements like that. And that's the problem with individuals like Asmongold who don't understand that when they try and make these points, you're opening up a broader fucking spectrum of idiocy. The next thing, let me go ahead and get the right screen up so y'all can see this one. This one right here. Everybody, I think, knows right now about the situation in Minneapolis, about the woman who was shot and killed by an ICE agent. Now, I couldn't find the singular video of him yet again, but this pits him against Charlie, I guess, whatever. Haven't watched it, so we're gonna run through this one together.
Speak on Renee Good.
Let me
Shit is
turn it up.
horrible. I still can't believe that anyone thinks that that was defensible action from ICE. Of course,
I do. And I think that they'll be proven in court of law that it was defensible.
This guy's a fucking moron. And this is where I'm saying right here, when you can watch the exact same thing as everyone else around you and come to this idiotic idea that this was right, that this was good, that this was a justified killing, you gotta be fucking crazy. And I'll tell you exactly why. Let's finish this real quick.
I do.
Charlie is a lib. It is incredible how someone can watch a video and depending on like their political brain, they'll see two different things. An ICE agent putting himself in front of a vehicle that is like the anti-protocol, and when the vehicle moves and turns,
if you break protocol, it doesn't mean somebody can run you over.
To the right, just immediately starts blasting, then it's like, yep, justified. In a sane society.
Absolutely. You can't drive your car into people.
Because it was justified? Whatever, brother. You got a crazy set of eyes on you, man. I'll tell you, if this happened on Joe Biden's watch, it would be a very different tune right now. If an American citizen got gunned down in her car.
And if it happened in Florida, where Charlie lives, it wouldn't even make the news.
Are we fucking serious?
Because that's the way it is over there. The fact is that, yes, it was totally justified, and it will be proven if there's an investigation.
Well, here's the problem with that quote-unquote investigation. The man on the bottom of that screen is the dumbest motherfucker on this earth. I am not arguing with you at all, my friend. I am not arguing with you, not one iota. That's a fact. That is a fact. Listen. For all things, and I've said this since I started streaming, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not. I can't do it. It's fucking stupid. Not only am I not gonna lie to you, I'm gonna give you the truth, and I'm gonna give you facts, and I'm gonna give you then afterward my honest opinion. Now, listen, I'm not gonna pull that video up. You guys can look it up yourselves. I know that you've probably seen it, and there is more than one angle to this video. Do you know how many YouTubers has straight up almost ended the man's career? You know what? Here's the problem with that right there. He has a clown base of individuals. And I hate even saying that. I hate even saying that because I have a very positive message for the individuals that watch him and people like him. But I'll do that at another time. Maybe a little bit after I finish this. Maybe I'll give just a little bit of positive messaging towards these individuals afterward. I think I might have to because there's a literal breakdown as to why this guy and people like him are just so lost in the world right now. But before that, let me say this. The two videos you watch, all right? One of them is from the left side of Renee Good's vehicle. The other one is from the right side. But then there's a third video that hasn't been put out on the internet at all, and that is the officer's camera. The ICE officer's camera. Now, the first video, you're watching the interaction. Initially, there was a small scene where you could hear someone tell her before anything happened, get out of here. So that's one officer's direction to tell her to get the fuck out of here. But then you have the ICE agent who's directly on the side of her vehicle. He's recording. Now, let me explain something to you, how dumb this is. This is how stupid this incident is right here. Why are you, as law enforcement, holding your phone, walking around, recording? Most law enforcement have cameras in their car. When it comes to actual police officers and law enforcement, they wear body cams. Granted, I understand somehow, sometimes them body cams, they magically turn off. They don't work for whatever reason. Maybe there was a mini EMP and it only hit the officer's body cams. All right, whatever. But why are you walking around this vehicle recording this incident? It's like, number one, you might be trying to agitate. But you know what? It's not illegal for you to do so as an ICE officer. Oh shit, wait a minute. Actually, it is. The reason why is because, listen, you're in a situation. At that, you then later claimed that it was a tense situation. At that, you even more so claimed that it was a situation that you feared for your life, which in turn justified you shooting this woman 3, possibly 4 times. Now, let's get back to the video. He's walking along the side of the vehicle, goes around the front. Now, anyone in law enforcement knows You do not walk in front of the vehicle because you're putting yourself in a precarious situation. And yet you're still holding your phone. Now, from the other angle of the video that comes from the right side where her partner was, who she's talking to him, and then you hear Renee Good as well saying, look, I'm not mad at you. You know, it is what it is. The other person's like, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Her partner says, leave, get out of here, and she's going to the door. Let's go back to the left side vehicle. You see the wheels make rotations, at least 3 rotations. Guess what she's doing? She's turning her vehicle to the right. And mind you, she lived on the fucking street. She was trying to get home. She turned her vehicle to the right. 3, possibly 3.5 rotations of her wheel to turn and leave the scene. Okay. Now, what I just said, this can make a little bit of a difference. Doesn't justify murder, though. You're fleeing the scene. Murdering someone is not justifiable because they're fleeing the scene, quote unquote. But mind you, she was already also told, get out of here, by another officer. Another ICE, not even officers, fuck them, the agents, okay? My This motherfucker still has the camera in his hand. He then has to, and everyone, Mr. Donald Trump and Asmongold and a few other these, you know, righties, all right, said that she ran over the officer, the agent. Let me get this. You know what? Fuck it. Officer, agent, okay? She ran him over. Now listen, words matter. If you run someone over, they're not going to be standing directly on the side of your vehicle, holding their phone, then dropping their phone to buck, 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 take shots at you. Now, there is a section where they haven't released his full video, but there is the section that they show, and it sounds like you hear a little thud. You know what that thud was? They want to say, oh, that's where she hit him. From that left angle, when she rotated her wheels, turned the car, pulls off, it, it does not look like he's touched at all. Maybe you got to get a real close angle on this in order to see him being hit at all. But what I do know is that he had to change hands in order to draw his weapon. What happens when you change hands when you're drawing your weapon to another hand? You put your phone down, but what it actually looked like, the way that it was moving, it looked like he might have even dropped it, and that little thud that you hear was either A, it hitting the ground, or B, more than likely, it hitting the vehicle. And then poof, 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 and she's dead. And her her car veers off into another car that is parked. You then see the ICE agent walk off like he didn't do a fucking thing wrong. No limp, no nada. And you can say, well, it's the adrenaline. The fuck out of here. I don't know if you've ever really, and I mean, hurt yourself. Adrenaline only does so much. You will still be limping, especially if, like they said, when he was in the hospital, he ended up having internal injuries that caused internal bleeding. But he was still released from the hospital that day, which, by the way, for those of you who don't know anything about injuries of that nature, what internal bleeding can actually do to you, you don't get released from the hospital that day. They will keep you for observation no matter what you say or do for 24 to 48 hours at least. But he was just let go. That's it. He wasn't hit. He wasn't run over. No, let me correct myself. He was not run over by her vehicle. If he was hit, it did no damage to him, but he murdered someone. Which again, by the way, in those circumstances, absolutely illegal. There are laws against this. So what I have to say about this is, number one, he's a fucking moron. That be Asmongold. Your president is a fucking liar. That officer is a piece of shit. That's my opinion. And what I can also base that off of is this. That officer just so happened to have been in an actual incident to where he got dragged by a vehicle. This was a month, 2 months or so prior, where he did sustain injuries. Should that officer have been out in the field yet again, actually conducting? I said officer again, agent. I just saw, if an officer, I saw officer out the corner of my eye. If that agent had been in this situation prior, why would you have him back out in the field again, doing the same thing, knowing that there's some form of mental issue? Whether you like it or not, they do have mental issues after the fact of having those sorts of incidents happen to them. Why would you put him back out there? That's even more of a reason for him to be found guilty if he's saying that that is what made him shoot. Because now you clearly should not have been cleared for duty. You clearly held some kind of bias, some kind of animosity toward the prior individual that did something to you, and you took it out on this person. Either way, it's fucking wrong. And the reason why there'll be no investigation is because the federal the federal DOJ took Minneapolis out of the investigation, out of any criminal investigation. They're quote unquote doing an internal investigation. What the fuck? Are we serious right now? If an officer or a federal agent in any way have internal bleeding, they are kept for a minimum 3 to 5 days. Thank you. The regular person is like 24 to 48 hours or longer. And in the case of an agent and officer, military individuals, it is at least 3 to 5 days. They have to make sure that you are okay. Have to, for multitude of reasons. If that was the cause of him shooting, that would be under PTSD, and he should never have been cleared for field duty only, office duty. Thank you. That's what I. And that's the thing about this is when it comes down to it, these influencers, these individuals like Asshole Gold, they have this thing that, oh, I can just make up whatever the fuck I want to make up. Even though you can clearly see what the situation is, even though you might clearly know the loss, even though you might have actually been in this sort of situation, or you might have done a job that actually has rules, laws, and guidelines that you have to abide by, even more stringent than these motherfuckers out here. Essentially, what it looks like is happening is ICE is out there in the middle of training exercises while on the actual job, because ICE has fucking zero zero reason to be in the streets of most major cities in America in this way. They don't have the training for it. I have a fantastic ICE story like for you, because I had to deal with a ICE agent in a very in a very harsh manner once. I mean, I've dealt with them, over the years, especially living where I live too. We were close to where I used to live in the States. We were an hour from the border. I used to spend long periods of time in Mexico all the fucking time. But I had this ICE agent once. I was running, and this is why I didn't feel bad, and why everyone always asked me, why can't you stand ICE agents, as much as you do? And I laughed, and I'm like, first off, most of them are wannabe military. Most of them were either rejected or they come out afterward and they have this fucking grudge or whatever the case may be. And most of you know what I used to do, and I don't play that dumb shit. Period. But they also have these egos, these narcissistic. You having a conversation, yo. They have these egotistical, narcissistic ass, just egos that are disgusting. Uh, Guy behind you, locking in on the game. No, you know what? I know. I'm like, I see him through the screen too. I'm like, he back there doing his fucking thug thizzle. I still don't understand the meaning of ICE. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't understand? Immigration is customs enforcement, but they just have these egos that are out of this fucking world. And I had this woman come in to the shop where, or not shop, but the dealership that I was consulting for, a major car dealership that I was consulting for. And she wants to buy a car. She saw my car. I had my car specially. This is not the, some of you have seen my Instagram, not the Benzes I used to have, whatever. No, no, no. This I don't even know. I can say it because it doesn't tell which location, but it was a Toyota. I had a specially made Camry for myself. This thing was a beast. It was mean, absolutely mean. And this was like the first iteration of them having, like, I mean, GPS, like the whole nine, just clean. It was in a specialty, like pearl white, that you could only get in certain ways. Look, the thing was just clean. All right. So I had this. Actually, no, 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 no. Because mine was the pearl, like gray, but looked like chocolate. Whatever. The pearl white one was the one I wanted to do, but I couldn't have all the upgrades done on it. So she sees mine and she asks, like, "Ooh, that one, like blah blah blah." And I go, "Ma'am, that car has this, all added onto it, and it's going to cost you this." I had an extended fucking sunroof on this bitch. It was clean, clean. Anyway, we find something suitable for her. She says, "I can handle the payments. I'm not going to disclose how much her payments were, but let me tell you right now, Lord have mercy." And I'm like, okay, cool. Is there anything you would like extra on it? Yeah, I want these wheels and I want this system in it. Oh, well, actually, we got that one right out front, and I'll have the wheels put on for you right now. It's just going to take a couple of hours more for them to get it. They will prioritize it, everything else. Because the thing was, even though I was consulting for this for the dealership, I made a bet with all of the salesmen just to keep them motivated. I said, if any of you can ever beat me in a week, I will give you X dollar amount, because I was making money doing this at that point in time. This woman, she's like, all right, cool, let's go ahead. So I would go out and do sales, every day when I felt I needed to, or if I wanted to. She goes, all right, go ahead, let's do it. All the paperwork signed. Those payments were, yes, sir. Yes, sir. They were they were real. And I found out her grade because they get paid essentially the same way that did in the military. And I was just like, ma'am, you sh- you sure you gonna be okay with this? In the right tone. I didn't just be like, bitch, you shit. I didn't treat her like that. I was just like, ma'am, whatever. And of course, that ICE agent there, I work for ICE and I can do blah 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 blah. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then she said something about her dude, and I'm like, All right, cool. You and your husband got bread. Y'all can fuck it. It is what it is. Go through the financing, come out, hit her with it. And because she pulled that dumb shit, I felt like I didn't have to do her any favors. This is what your payments are going to be. You like that? You good? Yes. But no buts with me, bitch. No buts. I'm going to take you back here to this finance officer, and you're going to sign this, and you're going to get X, Y, and Z on top of it. We're not playing this game. So she goes through, does it all. The finance officer comes back, and they're like, did you just... I said, yes. Yes. That's all her. Now, this is where it gets fucking crazy. This right here, mind you, I tried helping her before she signed the paperwork, and then after she got that little attitude, I was like, fuck her. Let her take her car, be merry and on her way. Whatever. Brand new. Brand fucking new car, too. A week and a half later, almost 2 weeks later, never forget this because I was actually on my way out on a trip. She walks back in the door. The car pulls up. I'm like, damn, what the fuck? Maybe she's coming in for something, something new, like want something extra done, whatever. I don't I don't want this car now. I think I need to get something a little lower, that I can have. Oh, so now all of a sudden the price is a fucking problem. You drove the car off the lot. There's no issues with it mechanically, so on and so forth. So you know what I did for her? You know what? I'll let you go ahead and trade it in. In fact, here's what I'm willing to give you for this car right now. Maybe it was a little bit beyond. Maybe it was a little bit beyond 2 weeks. Nah, I think it was about 2 weeks. Dead ass, 2 weeks at max. Because I remember where I was going at that point. And she came in just before I was leaving on both ends, to start and to end. Ma'am, here's what I'm going to fucking go ahead and give you on that vehicle. Because I even took her out and was like, hey, what would you like instead? And she most definitely downgraded her motherfucking car. When she saw the number I put in front of her as far as her trade-in, sweetheart, it's called depreciation and you being a fucking bitch. Like, yo, I'm not even joking. This is what depreciation does. As soon as you drove the car off the lot, this is why you're not getting that. Plus, you did these upgrades. Now we have to look at it in the aspect of maybe somebody else doesn't want this. Maybe they don't want these wheels. Maybe it's too much for them. Now all of a sudden they got to go back here and swap out the wheels again and everything else and readjust and rebalance and yada yada. It got to the point because at first I was like, you know what? I kind of wanted to be cool, but once she opened her mouth and said some foul shit, I was like, you know what? This is what you're getting. You can take it or leave it. Now, you have the option of trading in the car. You're going to get this. I'm going to put you in the new car that you actually want, lower your payments, or you can get the fuck out. And I said it just like that. That's exactly how I put it to her. And then she starts crying. And I'm like, wait a minute, what happened to that tough ICE agent attitude and blah, blah, blah. And then what she do, and I was hoping she did this, she got on the phone with her dude, and he's like, yeah, I'll be able to make it there by X time, whatever. And she's like, well, I'm just gonna have my husband come in, and I'm like, cool, cool. You want to wait here? Would you like to go across the street and have some lunch, dinner, whatever? I don't care. I'll wait for him to get here. Sure enough, he came in, and he, of course, tries to pull the tough guy. I'm an ICE agent, too. And I looked at him, and I said, it doesn't matter to me. This is what the paperwork says. You want to make a bigger fuss about it? That's when one of the sales reps in the back office, this man knew me very fucking well. He, too, was ex-military. And he said to these people, I kid you not, are you outside of your discipline? Did you decide to take on a payment that you couldn't afford? Is that my fault? Is that our lot's fault? Is that his fault? And I just sat back like, what are we going to do here? Because now you're wasting my fucking time. My point to this is, The ego of most of these individuals that work for ICE, I shit you not, is the ego of I can do, say, and get away with whatever the fuck I want to, and no one can do anything about it. And that person who shot that woman in Minneapolis, Miss Good, he had that same look on his fucking face as he walked away from committing an absolute murder. And then you have fucking idiots, greasy, roach infested idiots like Asmongold defending these actions, and morons like the fucking orange gnome that most people in the States decided should be president after he fucking lied to them left and right. Directly lying to your face after you see a video saying that he was run over. She didn't hit him with the car. She ran him over. Those were the words of your lying ass president. At some point, you all have to realize that you have a problem and you need to fix that problem and elect new officials to correct the course that you're on. Because the streets, after I saw a video yesterday, I was like, ain't no fucking way this is what Minneapolis looks like right now. It reminds me of the point in time where there was a very large riot happening in California back in the 90s. But then again, when I looked at it even more so, I was like, wait a minute. This actually looks like I'm watching somewhere in fucking Russia or something like that, where the military is out there just doing whatever the fuck they want to the citizens of the country. A country where the US Constitution plays zero role in their government. What the fuck is the problem here? But when I said that I might have a little bit of something to say to the individuals like Asmongold, and I know that it's going to be put out much more prevalently in another video that I'm working on, I'm going to say this right now. Individuals like him, individuals like Nick Fuentes, individuals like the dead Charlie Kirk, the individuals that follow them, they're caught in a circle. They're caught truly in a circle. And that circle is first fear, rage, hope. And every one of those things are connected to each other. And it created a circle. Their fear created rage. Their rage creates this false hope. That hope is only there because of the false fear and rage that's been put forth to them. This circle jerk, there's a way out of it. Stop listening to the fucking lies. And what I mean by that is this. These individuals, and I'm not talking about all white people, but ladies and gentlemen, let's be real about it. The greater base of individuals who are believing in this conservative Christian value based system that quote unquote is America, is what America's built on. They're a bunch of white individuals. And what's really funny about that, I'm having a deja vu situation here with Nick Fuentes. He's kind of reminding me of a certain Nazi leader who told people that being white in skin, blonde haired, blue eyed was the superior race. I think we all know who I'm talking about here. Kind of ended himself during World War II in there. I think we all know who I'm talking about. I would have said fear, rage, ignorance, then hope. Well, you know what? The ignorance would be first in that. And thank you, because I think you just gave me a key to that. Thank you so much. I think that, yeah, that ignorance comes first because the fear comes off of their ignorance, which then creates the rage, which then goes into the hope, and the circle just fucking, continues. There you go. All right. But yeah, but Nick Fuentes, the last name, ladies and gentlemen, I think we get where I'm going here. The last name is Fuentes. He's fucking Mexican. Like, nigga, he's half Mexican. His dad is Mexican. There's a video of Nick Fuentes being stopped by a police officer, and when he's told, "Hey, you out here shooting off at the mouth with racist propaganda," he goes, "What? I'm Mexican." It's convenient at that point in time that you're Mexican, but the rest of the time you're spewing nonsense, hatred towards black people, hatred towards Mexicans, hatred towards Asians, Jews, anybody you can fucking think of, hatred towards those individuals. Let me explain something to you all, to the white individuals who follow these people. Again, I'm going to go deeper in depth with this in a different video, but let me say this here and now because I think it needs to be said. First off, Italians, you're not considered white. Irish, you're not considered white. Well, you weren't. You are now. Let me explain what I mean by that. Back during the days of slavery and segregation, you all were on those boards along with blacks and animals. And in fact, for the Irish, you were actually put under animals. That says a lot. What they think about you, what these people who are Christian conservatives, the things they want to go back to, it says a lot about what they think of you. Mexicans, you know how they feel about you. Even if you're one of those Latinos born in America, you know what they think about you. Asians, Chinese, Korean, Filipino, Japanese, they feel the same about you. But what's funny is somehow they actually try to claim Japanese people. Nobody else. Nobody else. They try to claim Japanese people when Japanese are actually farthest from being white. And I have to remind my Japanese people that as well. You're not white. They don't give a fuck about you. If at the end of the day, most of these conservative Christians got what they wanted to, everyone would be out of the country except for those who are quote unquote white by the standard that they set. And the crazy thing about it is, most of them are self loathing, self hating fucking idiots because there's some melanin in their family somewhere. Most of them are they make the claim that blacks are so far removed from their ancestors that they should have no feeling towards what slavery was. Well, you white individuals who have that belief are so far removed from your European ancestry that you should have no claim to it either. You've lost the accent. You've lost the heritage. You've lost the knowledge, the culture. You are now American, and guess what? All those people that were born there in that country, or those that work there in that country, or those that are citizens there in that country are also American. They're supposed to be your quote unquote fellow Americans, but you see them as nothing or lower than you because somehow the individuals, this goes back to that circle. The individuals who speak so highly of their white superiority are so afraid of being replaced that they've actually now become the very thing that they said everyone else is, that they've said black people are for decades. they've now become the ones who are, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do because we're treated so horribly. All of a sudden, they're the victims. It's insane. They talk about not having this victim mentality, and all of a sudden, now they're the victims. Or they feel like they're the victims. They're afraid that they're the victims. They feel like they're being replaced. But it's okay for them to have that mentality. White and black actually never existed until the point in time. I mean, white and black. All right, let me break this down for you. There was no white race or black race. Everyone was of specific ethnicities, of specific cultures, of specific heritages. This is why I've always said the word race to me is such a stupid fucking word when it comes to trying to define individuals in that way, because human beings are the race. Your cultures, your ethnicities, those things define are defined based on where you're from, your upbringing, the color of your skin at times. Listen, I am of three ethnicities, and you all know how proud I am of all three of them. No one can ever fucking change that. I don't care your feeling at all. I know who I am. I know what I am. And I'm goddamn proud of it. And I also know my history on each one. People created in the United States, like I said, Italians and fucking Irish were down there with, you're not sitting at the same table as us white folks, us KKK members and all this other shit. You're an animal. But when it came time to integrate, integration is what created the black and white terminology. Technically, anyone outside of the US, such as Africans or Caribbeans or Asians, they're not technically black. That's defined for black Americans, individuals who were born and raised there. And the white term is actually meant for white Americans because it was to segregate who could have and who could not have. And what they did at that point in time was, well, you know what? These little differences between the Irish and the Italians and shit like that, let's bring them in. They can have because they're of that complexion. And then, of course, they take the Japanese and they believe that they're white. Well, let me tell you something. The land that you stole, America itself, the people who were there before, the Native Americans, hate to tell you that anthropologically, culturally, Japanese. You know their skin color. And I don't know if a lot of you know a lot of Japanese people, actual Japanese people. I grew up around them. I live around them yet again. I remember a show back when I was a young kid and somebody in the States and somebody was like, that's a brother. And I'm like, that's a Japanese man with a fucking afro is what that is. And they're like, wait a fucking minute. I'm like, yeah, a lot of them are actually darker skinned than what you actually think. High yellow, if you will, as they used to call individuals. You know, you see the other section here where I tan because Japanese people actually tan. They don't burn in the sun. We're like, listen, I hate to say this, and joking, whatever. White people are allergic to the fucking sun. How can you be superior when the thing that actually is a part of giving life, you're fucking allergic to? It burns you motherfuckers to death. Like, what? Get the fuck out of here. There's no superiority in that. That's like that's like a fish not being able to breathe underwater in its own with its gills. Like, nigga, you got to get the fuck up out of here. But anyway, just fucking around. But yeah, Chinese people are of melanin. Most of them know that. Koreans who are descendants of Chinese, and I'm not saying that they don't have their own culture or anything else like that. I hate to tell you, you are of the melanated. About the only ones who are not of melanation, Scandinavian individuals, the people who are direct, like, I mean, European, Roman descendants, which always cracks me up how these Christian nationals are like, we need to go back to our culture and everything else. The Roman Empire. The Roman Empire failed, fuckers. Not only that, but if that's the case, then why don't you do what you tell every other ethnicity? Go back to your home country, because America ain't fucking yours. But to all those individuals, let me get back to what I was saying before. I told you this can take you in a big fucking loop of things because so much of this is interconnected. But let me get back to what I was saying. The reason why the individuals who follow them are in that circle that they're in, why they follow them, and they think that they are gaining hope is because they're mad. In the US, you have something called incels. Here in Japan, we have something called hikikomori. Hikikomori is usually specifically directed towards males. However, there are a ton of women who are hikikomori. And I've known quite a few as well. I've seen them when they actually go out. You can see it. The incels in the US are so upset that they feel like they're being replaced. And so this whole idea of the great replacement theory, which came about by a Frenchman, by the way, this whole idea puts them in a state of mind of there'll be no more whites, even though they still dominate the greater portion and population of the United States. They still exist in other countries, Caucasian individuals. It's true. But it then goes into this extent of, well, our women don't want to date us. And if I say I'm a Christian national, they really don't want to date me. And I feel like I have to lie to them because I can't get any pussy. Let me explain why. Because you're listening to individuals who themselves are fucking incels, who are hikikomori, who absolutely have no life outside of fucking making money off of you. If I can keep you in this constant loop of fear, of rage, of fucking ignorance, of hatred, but yet give you just the right amount of hope, guess what? Gotcha, bitch. That's exactly what it is. What most of them need to do is learn how to talk to a woman. You spend so much time on the internet and treat Facebook or Instagram like your dating marketplace. You go on fucking Tinder or Bumble and treat them like you're actually gonna meet someone with character, someone who you can actually relate to. But yet you're swiping right on every single picture you fucking see without ever reading the profiles. And we used to joke about this when I used to do the Tinder nights and shit like that. I can tell you something clear as day. One of the things I think I said on one of those streams was, if you ever see a girl that says, I don't talk often on here, and it says at so and so, meaning go to her Instagram, nigga, she's just trying to get you to follow her. That's it. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. She don't give a damn about you. But they treat it like it's reality. And the fact of the matter is, it's not. And then you don't know how to talk to a woman. And then when you actually do talk to a woman online, the first thing you do is send her a dick pic. What? The first thing you do when you're out on the streets with a woman talking to her, you get awkward and you want to remember the words of the man you said, grab her by the pussy, and you just might try and do it. Get the fuck up. Get offline. Go touch grass. Go think for yourself. Research things for yourself. Go out and take a 30, 45-minute walk Clear yourself every fucking single day. Get fresh air, meet new people, form relationships outside of your normal little relationships. Get offline. Don't game. Fuck, if you want to game while you're out taking a walk, do it a little bit. But realize where you are. You're in the fucking world. But when you sit online and you sit in this constant death hole, this fucking constant chokehold of people telling you that you're no longer good enough, you're no longer good enough. But if you donate to me, I'll show you the way. But they never do. It goes the same with every other scam or every other influencer's idea of, I'm gonna give you this class. We're gonna go ahead and give you this class, but it's gonna cost you $59.95 a month. And they never give you an answer because they've got you in the fucking chokehold. That's all I have to say about this today. Like I said, it's something that could go on and on and on and on and on, but it's really sad to see the the degrading of an entire country because of lies, people not recognizing lies, not realizing when they're being played and who they're being played by. The fact is, the world is going to progress with or without you. And while you may make it just hard enough to fuck with people for a short while, that short while will not last. We've seen it over history where these simple minded individuals, and granted, they caused a lot of pain and hurt and death during the time of their reign, but it never fucking lasts. And for those of you who are stuck in the loop of following in the footsteps of these idiots, you're just going to get fucking left behind. And you will have none of those things that you want. Because that somehow is the biggest complaint of these incel ass individuals. Women don't like me. You don't know how to talk to women. That's just what it is. You don't know how to act when you meet one. Fuck. You don't even take the time to meet them. You live in a bubble and you're being lied to. But hey, you keep making those people famous, they'll keep you in that circle. That's it for that. But anyway, yeah, I'm sorry. I went on a little bit of a fucking tangent there. You guys don't understand how twisted it is to watch people fall into this trap. And what's funny is I brought up hikikomori, and one of the things I was going to talk about today was the fact that people, you know what, we might get into it because I got a few stories to share with y'all. People over romanticize Japan